My guest for today is Rohit Chaturvedi, the lead guitarist of one of the biggest and most iconic heavy metal bands to ever come out of India, Kryptos. However, his musical journey has evolved to become a lot more than this, as he is also the CEO and music director of his own studio, working with major national and international clients, as well as some of the most talented and acclaimed independent musicians India has to offer. So I visited Rohit at his beautiful Sugarline Studios in South Bangalore to talk about all this and more. And personally speaking, I think you'll take a lot away from this conversation as a musician, producer, or even just a creative in general. So, without further ado, here's me with Rohit Chaturvedi. Okay, Rohit, thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you for having me on your show. Really looking forward to it. It's been a long time coming, so let's do this. Yeah, excited.
Thank you so much. So before we start, I wanted to show you two pictures.
Okay.
All right. One is from the last time we did an interview, which is more than a decade ago.
Whoa, this is insane.
Do you remember where this is?
What's this? Maybe it's. I think it's Pebbles. Maybe I don't know.
Correct.
Exactly.
It was at a gig called Metal Assault
Right.
at Pebble back in I think 2016.
Was this a gig that got canned?
I think that was another show that got canned. I think all of you guys
yeah, awesome.
ended up performing, but I think this interview was for when you were recording Burn Up the Night.
Oh yes, awesome.
Yeah, so we talked about like what's going on with Burn Up the Night, and so that
This
is the last.
amazing. Thanks for bringing it up, man. This is really, really lovely.
Yeah.
You look so different now, and you're looking great. Huh? Awesome, good stuff.
Yeah. You look pretty much the same as ever, but just for the sake of my ego, I think I look a little better also. And the second picture I want to show you is actually one of my favorite pictures of you from all the Kryptos gigs I've been to, which is this.
Wow. Thank you so much, dude. This is so cool.
I think this picture pretty much personifies like you as a musician and performer to my eyes.
Thank you so much, man. You really made my day with this. I love it. A great picture. And I can see all the horns in the air as well. Very cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much for this.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah. So let's touch on your production career right now. So how did you get here? Tell us all about the birth of Sugarline.
Right. It's been a long time coming. Since I got into music, I've been fascinated with music gear. Okay, with different microphones, production techniques, and I've been doing it on the side all this while. I was in advertising for 10 years, and I was writing jingles, and I was writing a lot of music. Plus, I was doing Kryptos on the side. We were going on tour and stuff like that. And a point came in my life where the lines seemed to converge. You know, you feel like you're at a crossroads sometimes, and my advertising gig was an addictive gig. I love writing. I love doing creative work, you know. But then I said, I think it's time to do something for myself, you know. And it's been 4 years since we've had the studio. Last Christmas, we turned 4. It's been a great journey, but hard work, labor of love, a lot of things go into making something of your own. A lot of nerves come in. You put all your eggs in one basket and you commit to yourself. Let's do this. And since 4 years, we've been producing with films, working with a lot of advertising companies. We're doing independent artists, which I love the most. Like, I love working with independent artists. We have such great artists who come in over here. And especially if you see the kind of talent that's coming out these days, insane. Like I can really like say in next 5 years, Indian music scene is gonna boom. You know? So yeah, for Sugarline, it's been great 4 pleasant years and couldn't be happier.
Any particular artist that stands out that you've worked with here in Sugarline?
Excuse me. I work with a lot of artists, and they all have their own pros and cons. Let's put it that way. You know, I wouldn't compare a rapper with a metalhead. Okay, as an R&B singer with a jazz musician. You know, so they're all very unique in their own spaces, especially like, and I see that when I'm sitting with an artist over here and talking to them about their music and. So where I come from, I've always been on the other side of the glass in the recording room.
Right.
You know, but when you come here, it's easy for me to empathize with the kind of artists I'm working with. You know, so there are loads of artists that stand out, especially like I was working in this a new band. It's a jazz band. It's a very school of a rock kind of a situation where teachers and students have a band together. It's called Haiku.
Okay.
Very good jazz band, talented musicians, great singers, and it's led by Tanvi Rao. Amazing bunch of musicians, and it's been amazing working with them. When it comes to metal bands, we recently finished recording with the glam rock band called Steel Falcon. Very interesting band as well. So we have loads of bands coming and going, and you have to treat each and everybody as an individual.
Mm.
Try and empathize. I mean, like anybody can sit here and hit record. Easy, right? Just go and press one button and everybody's recording. But where you bring in your human element, empathize with them, how difficult it is to be in the live room to record. A lot of people don't see that. The amount of planning that goes into hitting the studio. Like when you hit the studio, you have 8 days a week, maybe a fortnight in the studio, and I want to help them bring out their best at that moment.
Right.
For example, like a lot of people, I start talking to them much earlier with pre-production. I want to see how they're rehearsing. I want to make sure that they are able to play as best as they can, so that when they come in over here, they give in their best. So we got to work with Arivu, is a really good rapper.
Ooh, I've heard of him.
He came up with a song called Enjoy Enjami. He was in the studio. We worked with a rapper. His name is Raga. I think he's from Delhi or Bombay. I'm not too sure. But I think he's also blowing up on Instagram and stuff like that. There's a really awesome upcoming indie artist. Her name is Rebel.
I've heard of her. Wow, dude.
She's awesome. I think she's fantastic.
Yeah, I actually met her at a Hanuman Kind show that happened in Jaimal Palace. So Rebel was supporting him, and she is absolutely kick-ass. And to be very honest, she's one of the people I want to interview soon as well. So
absolutely, she's perfect. She's really good. Yeah, and like I can see her, like like especially like when an artist is recording, right? I think in creative field there is no gray area. It's either black or white. Right. If somebody's faking in there, you can see it. It's the same live. When somebody's playing on stage, they're not giving it. I think you shouldn't think that your audience is not aware of what's happening, but they feel emotions, And same thing in the studio as well. Like when an artist comes in, they're giving it 100%. I see something like that with Rebel, and when she comes in, does her tracking over here.
Yeah,
it's great, and loads of great artists. Of course, we record our own things over here as well, but it's amazing to be on the other side and see how people are. So it's easy for me to understand like what kind of pressure they're going under. So you just have to help them calm down, give a good performance, and that's what it is.
Awesome. Speaking of the people that come into the studio, like in your experience, what is the biggest misconception that new musicians or even people in general have about the recording process or the audio production process?
Okay, so firstly, I think the big misconception is it's going to be really expensive. Okay, right. Which is kind of true in some cases. While at our place, at our studio, I don't see as an artist amount of how much they can contribute and things of that nature. I see them what they can do. Okay, like for a college student, I know his pockets aren't that deep, so we have different pricing for where the person's coming from. For an indie artist, is going to be different. For a college student, it's different. When I'm working on commercial projects, it's going to be different. So because it's unfair. I know I've been on the other side as well. Like when we were growing up as well, going into the studio, we knew it was so expensive. We're saving up all our monthly salaries and pocket money and everything, which is like not much. And when you put it all together and do it, it's a bit difficult. Another thing is misconceptions are that people think they can come and just record one take. That is just very common. I've seen it with a lot of people coming in. They say, "Oh, we'll be done in an hour." 8 hours later, we are still on the same text, which happens quite often, and it's quite insane. And that's why I'm always insisting artists practice. Practice, give in your heart and soul to your craft, and it will show. Like 30 days of rehearsals for 2 hours of recording. And those 2 hours of recording can be worth it because you're going to be living with it. You're committing to it. Once you commit to it, music is for life for you. So why not make sure, practice and come and get those laurels off your head? A lot of people are thinking that I know everything. I can do this. This is so easy. People get married to their songs. I've seen artists coming in, a band coming in, and they're always talking about my drums, my guitars, my vocals, my bass. I'm like, stop. What is more important over here is to see a song holistically. Okay, I mean, if you're going to be doing slap basses on top of a very melodious singer, it's not really going to work. So I see in that point of view as well. Like what the song demands. So at our studio, we are not looking at we're just going to record somebody and then we're done. No, we want to produce them.
Right.
Okay, and that's why a lot of artists come to us again and again. But talking about misconceptions, a lot of people have in terms of money, in terms of their own prowess, maybe they know more than anybody else. It's okay to share your music and to be okay for to make edits on the fly, and once you're open to that kind of collaboration, something beautiful comes out of it.
What does it take to own and operate your own studio in today's climate?
Good question. Okay, what does it take? It takes for anybody like me who is running an operation like this to wear multiple hats. I'm the housekeeping over here. I am the producer. I'm also directing music. I'm the composer, and I take help from anybody who comes and gives it to me. We work with a bunch of engineers. We work with Varun Taneja, great FOH guy, and in the studio, we work with him. And so I think what it takes right now is to say yes, this is my baby. And I want to give it the best I can. I try and make the best of what I have. I think it's the same with artists as well. What you have, you make the best of it. Okay, sure. You might not have $20,000 microphones, but what you have, juice it out. Like if the artist is not able to give him some time, but get the best out of him.
Right.
So wear multiple hats. Be the producer, be a composer. Try your hands at different things. For example, you want to try podcast editing. So it's a great learning curve. Especially when you're doing it independently. But I would never say that I'm a self-made man or any of those things, because I don't think anybody is. Like in our journey, we come across a lot of people who help you out. I got a lot of help from Anupam Roy from Delhi. He was a producer on Afterburner album. From Rinal, he's from Stained Glass Productions. So a lot of people have helped me as well. To come to where it is. And I think the production environment right now in India, and especially in Bangalore, is growing up and up. I work with a lot of film directors, film producers as well, and who are Bombay production houses and things of that nature. Now, I see a lot of work coming to Bangalore. Why? Because in Bombay, it's an industry. It's called the film industry, right? So if somebody's doing music for an ad or for a song, and they'll tell the film director, go and have lunch and we'll be ready. In 2 hours, boom, it's done. It's ready. While how I think is, and most film directors I work with, is they want to romanticize it. They want to feel it a little bit more.
Right.
You want to see moments where it can breathe, where silence is important, where crescendos really flourish. So I like to talk about those things, and I talk about the emotional aspect of that music that the listener is going to get. So that journey becomes a lot more enjoyable. Okay, and the end result is a lot more bigger and larger and more beautiful than you would expect from anything that just churns out in 2 hours.
Right.
So that's the kind of environment I think that in Bangalore specifically I see.
Okay. What is your biggest pet peeve when it comes to audio production?
Pet peeves, okay. I've never really understood what it means. Okay, what pet peeves really means, but maybe you can elaborate a little bit more, and then I can tell you.
Okay, so like the most irritating thing you have to deal with when it comes to doing a project of any kind in the studio, whether it be working with a band or working with a solo artist or working with a commercial client or whatever.
Got it. Okay. So I'm a stickler for time. Okay, and I think people should respect people's time. Okay, like when you walked into the studio, I was so happy you were like 15 minutes earlier than our scheduled time. I respect that because you're respecting my time and my energy as well. And I expect that from everybody I work with as well.
Right.
So usually I have some clients who just land up at like 45 minutes late. I'm like, my engineer is here, I am here, the studio is ready, we're ready to go. Where are you guys? Okay, I mean, like, I get it why people are late, but it's nice to respect other people's time. My other thing is I have a massive OCD. Okay, about how things keeping in place, how to arrange things, and it kind of makes my mind work better. But like sometimes like if I'm doing something and suddenly I see somebody taking a coffee cup and keeping it on the table. Don't do it. There's expensive stuff over here. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it's just a few studio ethics, and I expect a lot of people to know it. But once they are in, we talk about it, and it's usually fine. I mean, like I'm always, I think a smile has a lot of power, and like when you smile at somebody and tell them, maybe it's not a good idea, they all understand, and especially when we are all in confined spaces like this, right? Egos, tempers can rile up at any moment. So you always be cool, wear a smile, and everything goes really well if you trust the process.
Okay, great. All right, so let's get to the sexy stuff.
Okay, all right. Okay.
First of all, before I get to Kryptos, I just have to ask you one thing that I've noticed. Whenever Kryptos or any other metal band gets covered in the press, how many times have you seen the word metal, METTLE, in the headline?
Bunch of times.
My God,
It
yeah.
is there. Yeah.
I'm glad to see that it's not just me, because it's like they can't conceive of any other headline like proving their metal, proving their
Their
metal,
metal, yeah,
proving their
their
metal.
metal.
And I'm like, can you come up with like any other word to describe?
It's a very low hanging fruit. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, if you like that, yeah, go for it. Yeah. There's
Yeah,
other thing you see, like for example, thrash metal.
yeah,
A lot of people like thrash metal. I'm
yeah.
like, guys, come on, it's a thin line, man. Come on, don't do that. Yeah.
Okay, so I think if my research is to be believed, you are closing in on like 2 decades with Kryptos. Is that
Right,
true?
that's right.
Yeah.
I joined Kryptos in 2005.
Okay.
It's 20 years since I've been playing with Kryptos.
Oh.
So we have 7 albums out now. I've been part of 6.
Mm.
You know, I like to say that I'm the founding member. Like I'm almost there. You know. Yeah, so it's like that, and it's been a great journey, man. Like 20 years together, we understand each other really well. I mean, like, it just takes a look to understand what the other person's going through, especially on stage. And I think that's what reflects, and that's why people come to watch us because we are having such a good time on stage,
Right.
and we want everybody to have a good time with us.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's what really makes a difference. You know, people are paying a lot of money to come and watch us. They take a lot of time out of their schedules, and you know, like, and you want to be on stage giving you 100% for them, you know, and for yourself. So it's a win-win all around when it comes to Kryptos for us.
So tell us how you joined Kryptos in the first place.
Kryptos, I think so. It was I was playing for a college band that time. I was in Christ College. I was playing for a band, and a friend of mine he came and told me that there's a band called Kryptos, and they're looking for a guitar player. Maybe you should try it out. I'm like, who are these guys? And like, then I searched the internet and dial-up internet and stuff like that, and I saw these guys have an album out, and they had a picture of they all wearing sunglasses. I'm like, these guys are cool, man. I gotta check it out. So I didn't heard at all anything about them, and so they were looking for a guitar player. They were auditioning a bunch of guitar players. So I got Nolan's number from the person who was telling me to go and try it out. Went and met Nolan. Went there, and it was Ryan was playing drums that time. So it was in his house. Went there, and Nolan he told me, like, learn a bunch of songs and come. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And Altered Destinies and Forgotten Land of Ice and a bunch of songs. So I'm like, sure, I can learn that. And went there, and I think what really worked out for us, that our love for similar kind of music and our vision that we want to, like, take it forward. We are in it for for the long run, and I think that's what really clicked. And cool dudes, and we're like, why not? Let's try it out. And one gig led to another gig, and it's been 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, there are bands that have like started, broken up, and done reunion tours within that time, and that is a long time to be in a band with. And another thing I'm curious about Kryptos is that I don't know if it's just me, but lately it seems like you guys have been touring Europe more than you perform like anywhere in India. So I'm just curious, how do you guys manage to tour Europe so often, and how do those guys react to you as opposed like to the reaction you get in India?
Right. So there are two very different worlds. Okay. For example, India is having a bit of a tough time when it comes to touring circuits, touring infrastructure. It's a bit of a problem. You know, okay, there's a band, you're going to play in Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, Shillong, Bangalore. Then what? You want to go to more fans. You want to go different places. You want to go play more and make your audience wider. You know, you want your music to go as far as you can take it. Okay. So, for example, like if I have to tour over here, I have to take flights from every place over here. And when I'm touring in Europe, we have a tour bus. We put everything in it, and we can travel between countries very easily. You know, so, and there are a lot of venues, and the fans are also very committed. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the Indian fans are not committed. They definitely are. But I think the Indian fans are hungry for a lot more.
Right.
Okay. I mean, it would be great to see, like, if heavy metal, there are more heavy metal venues in tier 2 cities, be it like Indore or Bhopal or, you know, those kind of places. I think that's the way the whole scene is going to grow. Okay. While we are playing over there, why a lot more over there? To simplify it, there are a lot more shows over there. And a lot more listeners to our kind of music.
Okay.
I mean, like, I think we are, as an Indian heavy metal community, our journey has been a little later, started a little later than what it started in Europe.
Right.
Over there, people have been listening to it, and it's like a way of life for them.
Oh.
They live the heavy metal lifestyle. They still love buying vinyls, cassettes. And they support the band. Like when you go play a show, people come and buy your merch. They want to support the band so that they can see them next year. Okay, I think there's a bit of a difference. There's a gap in the attitude, like how we support artists and how they support artists. And I'm all for support local acts. I've always been very vocal about, like, I want to support the local scene over here as much as possible. I think that when all of us start looking at that way, I think our scene will grow and there'll be a lot more shows, a lot of more promoters will see that. And that's the way we can expand our music scene in India, especially when it comes to heavy metal.
True, true. Any particular tour story that stands out from your time in Kryptos? Like one tour story.
Tour story, I think we've had a lot of tour stories, a lot of fun ones, a lot of crazy ones. The last tour was a bit insane. So unfortunately, when we were on tour, our tour driver, he stole all our backline, and I mean, you wouldn't imagine, right? So he took my Les Paul, Nolan's Explorer, our amps, our drum kits, everything, like 2 hours before the show, which was insane.
Oh,
no. And but it was so nice of the people around us, the organizers, the promoters, a band called Sodom. I'm sure you guys know about it.
Wow, yeah, Sodom, dude.
Awesome, Agent Orange, right? And
Yeah.
so the guitar player, he lended us his guitars, and everybody supported us a lot. I don't think we wouldn't be able to do the tour without them. And our management, everybody's been saying that you guys are too cool, too easygoing, too chill. You need more drama in the band. I'm like, here you go. Here's the drama in the band. But yeah, I mean, like a lot of reckless stories too, and maybe off screen we talk about it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. What has been the biggest learning experience for you from working with Kryptos all these years?
Biggest learning experience is to stay humble, stay grounded, try to relate to everybody at a very equal level. Just because you're on stage doesn't mean you're a bigger person. I think you are still the same. If you're a metalhead, I think we are all equal. I think, and it goes beyond the world of heavy metal. I think across any creative field, you have to meet people eye to eye. The second you start having ego, or you think that you're better than somebody else, I don't think you're going to get too many shows. I don't think you're going to go too far in life either. Stay grounded. Do as much as you can, and stop just humping yourself all the time. And I think that I think that rockstar bullshit does not exist anymore. When you're supposed to be on stage on 6 o'clock, be there at 6 o'clock. So respect. Like we were talking about time. It's the same thing when you're touring as well. Respect time, and everything will be fine.
Okay. A lot of people ask like what your music influences are, but me personally, from listening to Kryptos all these years, I think I'm a bit clear on what that is. What I'm curious about is, I think out of everyone in Kryptos, I think you are the best performer from what I've seen. Who are your influences as a performer, not musician, performer? Like the way you conduct yourself on stage, the way you interact with the crowd. Who is the biggest influence to you as a performer?
As a performer, I think. You mean like in India or anywhere?
Anywhere.
Okay, I'd say like one of the greatest performers that I have seen live is probably there's so many of them, dude. Like it's quite a loaded question, right? Like how do you say who's the greatest performer? I think Dave Murray is a great performer. I think everybody in Iron Maiden Bruce Dickinson is an amazing performer. That live act is something else. I was lucky enough to watch Kiss live as well in Brooklyn, and they are great performers, laser lights and smoke machines, and it's absolutely fantastic. Randy Rhoads, of course, my all-time favorite guitar players. I think so stylish on stage, like the way he plays, the way he conducts himself, the way he dresses up. I think it's absolutely cool. Very, very cool. Jakey Lee as well, Gary Moore. Some of my very, very personal guitar players. I think style-wise, I need not be too flashy. For example, even Gary Moore, he's not doing too flashy things. He's playing really awesome stuff, like and very cool on stage and things like that. But it comes out in their playing, in their performances. So I think the list is very, very long, and I think if you talk about it, go forever. But these are some of the performances that I think are one of the best I've seen live. Maiden for sure.
Okay. We've touched on this a little before about the European fans or the Indian fans and all, but what do you think currently of the Indian metal scene right now and the bands in it and the direction they are taking their music in?
Okay, I think musicians now are a lot more serious,
Mhm.
like how they were back in the day.
Mhm.
Because a lot of bands back in the day are still not here right now.
Mhm.
It's because of that. Okay, a lot of people are interested in their craft. I work with a lot of college students, and so they are really giving it. And like a lot of colleges have music learning courses. Back then, we didn't have anything. I mean, like you meet a friend, you learn something from it. Oh, what is that thing you played? Can you show it to me? And you learn from people.
Mm.
Now there's such great schools, and the kids are playing some insane stuff, like and I hope they keep doing it, and not be like, okay, I'm going to college kind of phase.
Yeah.
So musicians like now, like for example, bands who have been around for a little bit while as well, like for bands like Amorphia.
Mm.
Now they're touring Japan, and I think bands like Gutslit, and they're all trying to break boundaries and go play in international shows, which is absolutely amazing for our scene. A lot more eyes are focused on India right now. Which is really good. And it's not only in metal, like across R&B, like we were talking about haiku and like jazz bands and R&B bands. Frizzell D'Souza, great singer. Dot, amazing performer. So they are really giving it. And I think the opportunity for India is really good because you see bands and artists mushrooming every single day. I hope they stick around and make India proud.
Awesome. How do you keep yourself creatively stimulated in between like playing with Kryptos and doing all of your studio projects? What keeps things fresh for you as you do all these things?
Right. I think meeting a lot of different people, perspective is a key over here. When you start meeting, like earlier, I was like mostly in the heavy metal circles, but when I started producing over here, now I'm meeting different types of artists as well. Electronic music artists, and and people have different perspectives, and you learn a lot from them. So I think that's one way of looking at it as well. And how I keep myself organized. I think when people ask you like, how are you so creative, I say I'm not creative, I'm just organized. I keep everything organized for myself, and like when it's time for Kryptos, it's 100%. When it's time for Sugarline, it's 100% over here, and it works that way. Like for me personally, I keep myself organized, and everything is fine. That's about it. And learning from people's perspectives. I think you put these two together, and you're good to go. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's actually not rocket science. You just have to stay grounded and do what you can do and do it as best as you can. That's about it.
Awesome. So we're gonna conclude this interview with what I'd like to call like a pop quiz.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna give you a bunch of quick questions and give me like a quick answer. The first thing that pops into your
Rapid
head.
fire.
Yeah, not like rapid fire as such. You can take a little bit of time if you want, but just give me like a quick answer. There'll be like short questions. I'll give you a quick answer.
Okay.
All right. Okay. When and where was your first Kryptos gig?
I am Bangalore.
I am Bangalore. Okay. All right. Favorite and least favorite song from the Kryptos catalog?
I like all of them. To be honest, I mean, like my favorite song. I think I love Mark Speed Running. Full Throttle.
That is my favorite Kryptos song. I'm so glad you mentioned that song because like the Kryptos songs that I have in my playlist right now, I think majority of the songs are from Afterburner. That is my personal favorite Kryptos album. Mark Speed Running is my favorite song. Awesome.
Thank you. Okay.
Awesome.
And I mean, I don't have a worst song of Kryptos, but probably I'll say something from the album which I didn't play on. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, because you weren't in it.
Yeah. No, I love the stuff that we write, and it's very close to my heart as well. It's difficult for me to say which is the least favorite or the best. I like all of them. If I had to pick top three, I would say Afterburner, Mark Speed Running, and Full Throttle.
Awesome. First rock song you ever heard?
First rock song I heard was Big City Nights by Scorpions. It's not metal, but but Big City Nights was. When I was younger, how I got into heavy metal was because of my eldest brother. And we were in a car. We had a Maruti 800, and we had a cassette player in it. So he got me a mixtape, and it had like Def Leppard, it had Scorpions, Iron Maiden, and Judas Priest, and it changed everything for me from there.
Okay. First metal song you ever heard? Rock, you said Big City Nights. First metal song you ever heard?
First, what a loaded question. First metal song I heard could be, I think, Whiplash, I think, by Metallica. I heard Kill 'Em All, and I'm like, what's going on over here? It's pretty wild, yeah.
Okay. If you had to pick one song with which to introduce someone to Kryptos for the very first time, which song would you pick?
I'd pick Full Throttle.
Full Throttle. Okay. favorite and least favorite part of playing live?
The waiting is the least favorite part. Like you wake up in the morning, go to the venue, do a sound check, and then you're waiting when you. I think that's the most boring part about playing a show. And the best part is being on stage. When you see thousands of hands in the air all together for the same purpose, is the greatest feeling ever.
Best and worst venue you've performed at?
Okay, best venue I played is Wacken Opener was the best venue we played. Sound is awesome, crowd is insane, very good. The worst venue, once we played in a venue which didn't even really have a name, but it was somebody's garage, and we were like, "What is this?" And there was no PA and there was nothing, and it was somewhere in Germany. And we were like, what's going on over here? And in fact, we were playing that show with another band called Night Demon. And they didn't even want to play it. We like, dude, like, we're here, might as well just rock out. And there were like 15 people over there or something like that. It's pretty crazy.
Okay. If you could feature Kryptos' music in any movie or TV show, which movie or TV show would you pick?
Back to the Future.
Oh,
okay. And which TV show? Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Any particular episode you want them featured in? Like,
I'd say the mind benders.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm trying to imagine that in my head right now. That would sound.
It'd be crazy, right?
Okay. So, project you are most proud of doing here at Sugarline?
Most proud of doing over here, Kryptos album, Force of Danger.
Okay.
Most proud of it.
Okay. Dream project you would want to do here at Sugarline, whether it be dream artist, dream band, dream project, anything. Dream project you'd like to do.
I want to record Dua Lipa over here.
Ooh, that's interesting.
That would be fun.
Yeah, Dua Lipa has actually been to India like a couple of times. I remember like she visited like a palace somewhere in Rajasthan or something like that. So
yeah.
hopefully she hears of the studio and then you can, have your dream.
Yeah, she's awesome, yeah.
Yeah. So and let's see. Lastly, dream gig you would love to attend or perform at?
Dream gig I would love to. I mean, unfortunately, they're not around anymore. But I'd love to watch Thin Lizzy someday.
Oh.
But yeah, rest in peace, Phil Lynott. But that's one band I would have loved to watch.
Dream gig you would love to perform at?
Dream gig I would love to perform at. Let's say Grass Pop would be great. Hellfest also great. Festivals I would love to play at.
Awesome. All right, Rohit, thank you so much for your time.
It's been such a pleasure, and thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me. And it's been quite refreshing, a breath of fresh air for sure. And I wish you all the best, man, and rock and roll, dude.
Thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun for me as well. So be sure to check out Sugarline Studios. Be sure to check out Kryptos. And if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and share. And be sure to follow us for more.